I'm Piker Biker, and in this video I'm going to talk about the science behind pellet fishing for barbel. It is a science, and if you can apply that science and technology correct, you can be rewarded with some absolutely stunning fish. So I'm just going to talk through some of the pellets that I use and explain the science behind it. This will give you an edge for when you're catching barbel. The thinking angler is always an angler that catches more fish. So if you can master the science behind some of the baits that I'm going to show you now, it will give you that edge. You will put more fish on the bank and you'll also have fun. To start off, I'm going to talk about the actual pellet that you're going to use on the hook. This is known as the hook pellet. Now, there is such a wide variety of pellets on the market. Now, the one I first started using when I first started barbel fishing, in fact, is the one I've got right beside me here, and it's a marine halibut pellet. Now, this is a pellet in 10 mil. So what can we do with our hook pellets to give us that extra edge over other anglers that are fishing just with a standard pellet on the river? There's a number of things you can do. One of the best ways I've found for making your hook bait stand out above what other anglers are using, and also something that's a little bit smellier than the feed pellets which are going into the river, is using oils and liquids and flavors. Now, this is just one for example. There's a huge array of flavors and different liquids and oils that you can use to achieve this. Now, this is the one that I think matches this pellet really well. It's like a smoky flavor. It's a fishy smoky flavor, and it just blends to the pellet very well. Firstly, you'll note that this oil is PVA friendly, so you can use this in PVA bags. If you're an angler that uses PVA bags to get the bait down on the riverbed, this will be perfect for you. You can use that in the PVA bags. It will not affect the meltdown rate of the bag. It's perfect. Putting oil on your pellets actually extends the life of the pellet on the riverbed. The pellet will draw the oil inside the pellet, and this stops water from attacking the pellet, which makes the pellet last longer. So this is ideal, especially if you're fishing in an area that you don't want to do a lot of casting. Maybe you're fishing in shallow water and you don't want to spook the shoal. So this is perfect for that situation. So that's the hook pellet. That's one of the edges that you can use. There is another edge that you can use to put more flavor into that pellet. Not only do you get more flavor with the oil, and not only do you get more durability with the oil, but also it attracts fish from miles downstream because they can smell that. Now, there's another little edge that you can use. Now, the good thing about using a hard pellet is you can get away with mold and paste around your pellet. This is the cheesy garlic variety, and it is really good for catching barbel. Barbel seem to love garlic, and a lot of fish do as well, and you'll also find that chub love the cheese. But I think this cheesy garlic combination is especially good for targeting the barbel on rivers. Now, that paste, it's an oily paste and it's very malleable. You can just mold that around your pellet, and it's perfect, absolutely perfect for giving you that extra edge to stand out above other anglers, to hook more fish. So now we've talked about hook bait, let's talk about the science behind the feed pellets. Now, these are the pellets that you're going to either administer in a feeder or in a PVA bag. Now, years ago when I used to fish the river, I watched one fella down on the River Ribble. We used to call him Mr. Source. He didn't use anything other than Mr. Source. But what he used with his boilie, it wasn't other boilies. He did catapult boilies in, but he was using pellets. And he explained this to me, and it stuck with me all my career. He told me the best way to attract barbel into your swim is to use pellets of different sizes. Now, there's a number of advantages why this is important, especially when you're fishing for barbel on rivers. Now, I've got with me, similar to the hook pellet, it's the same brand of marine halibut pellets. But this one is 8 mil. It's a little bit smaller. You can use this as a hook pellet, but it also works really well when added to a feed mix to go in your feeder or your PVA bags. What I learned from Mr. Source was not only to use 8 mil pellets, but also to use 6 mil pellets And not only to use 6mm pellets, but also to use 4mm pellets. And here we have a triple combination of pellets. The beauty about this type of fishing is you can add different pellets, different flavors. And I think that the Complex T is another fantastic bait for pulling barbel into your swim. It's a tried and tested bait that I've used, and it's fantastic. It's very similar to the Source, but it adds a little bit more pungency. I think it's a little bit more fishy than the Source, rather than meaty. So the science behind using 3 different sizes of pellets, what this actually achieves is it draws fish up into your swim. And how does it do that? Well, thinking about this scientifically, the 8mm pellets are much heavier. If you were to solely use 8mm pellets in your feeder, you would get pellets that are trundling down the river at the same rate, and you'd also get pellets which were breaking down at the same rate. However, if you were to use, say, a 6mm pellet alongside that, these pellets are obviously lighter, and they're also going to travel down the river a little bit faster, and they'll break down a little bit faster. So if you actually combine that with a 4mm pellet, this will also move down the river at a faster rate, break down at a faster rate. So what you've actually got is 3 different pellet sizes on the riverbed. Some are being carried away further downstream, some a little bit further back, and then as you get closer to your hook bait, you've still got some of the 8mm pellets, which is then again closer to the size of the hook pellet that you're using, and that's the science behind it. The smaller pellets will draw fish from miles downstream because they'll break down quickly. They'll just add flavour and it'll draw fish up and it'll get fish interested. They'll start to smell and they'll start to notice little pellets going past them, so they'll follow that line. And as they follow that line, the scent starts to get a little bit stronger. They'll find the small pellets, they start grubbing around on the bottom, and then they start to compete. Then when they come further upstream towards your bait, they're going to find some medium-sized pellets, and then eventually you're going to find the 8mm and the 10mm pellets. And that's why it's a fantastic way of adding signal to the river to draw fish up to your hook bait. It's fantastic, and I've used this method for years. What I like about the new Dynamite Bait Big River range is that they've already incorporated this science into a bag. As you can see, it's already got 8, 4 and 6mm pellets in there. So it's specifically designed for that reason of attracting barbel into your swim from far downstream. So you don't even need to buy separate pellets for this one. You can just buy a single bag. It's going to give you more time on the bank, less preparation, and it's going to do the same job. Fantastic. I have an easy way of attaching these pellets. One that'll give you an edge, one that'll save you money, one that will give you more time on the bank, one that'll give you more time with your bait in the water, and one that has never failed me. If you want to find out how I attach my pellets to the hook, you need to watch this video, and it's called Barbel Rigs, My Easy Pellet Rig. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.